If you build better sidewalks, there will be more pedestrians. I think it's as simple as that. But you touch on all the right points. It's about the experience of walking, being able to feel safe, having a nice experience in terms of landscaping, seeing lively public spaces through ground floor retail, through public art, through being climate protected with again with canopies and arcades, with trees. All of this adds to the experience of having a nice walk. And the climate is there, but it's also pretty hot in Singapore, but you see a lot of people walking. And that goes to show the fact that if you build these kinds of first world or these kinds of public amenities that everyone, not just people from the office or people from the condos, might enjoy, even transients or non-residents in a city, I think it will be used. People always talk about, I think we talked about this before, like informally, like, when you talk about mobility, everybody thinks of something with wheels. But the most important, I think, mobility that's being defined right now is, using our legs to be mobile, especially within the last mile of every city, and that's what we're trying to improve right now.
And we're all pedestrians. I mean, even if you're chauffeur driven at some point in your journey, you have to walk from your car to your final destination.
Absolutely. Oh, we see it in the urban planning books where the real test of having a first world development or first world city is not when people use cars. It's when rich people use public transport, right? So I think if you're thinking of the most public transport, again, I always like to think that our legs are the most public way to transport ourselves.
I learned that people would take public transport if they know that if for some reason the bus or the train break down, it's safe for them to walk. Another thing also, when you're in Metro Manila, you have pockets of very good walkable places. Much looking forward to walking around Aseana City. But, like when I lived in Makati, like I walk to work every day, at least within the CBD. When you go to places like BGC, you can walk as well. So you have these nice pockets of places where you can walk, you feel safe, you feel secure, and you can last all day really and keep busy and keep entertained. It's ironic though that we have to drive or go to these places to be able to walk. What do you think are initiatives that developers can do to work with a local government or national government so that we can improve connectivity between these nice pockets of development and even walk outside of these nice pockets of development?
Even for third-party developers that enter Aseana, we always try to explain to them that they are a part of the urban fabric that we're trying to develop. So if let's say you're building a building and there's a required canopy or arcade there so that we can make sure that all of the sidewalks have climate protection, that's something that we convince them to do for the sake of the entire community. And for developers, I think it's pretty important to learn what the overall mobility master plan is of the government, whether it's through the city or through the national, or if you're in a national road, just so you can see how you can add value to the overall development. And that's what we're trying to do here in Aseana. I always say that we stand on the shoulder of giants and we see these developments as something that we can emulate and even improve. And hopefully, somebody will see Aseana and say, I want to do a better development. And that's something that we would want to also inspire. And as as the city keeps evolving, even things that we thought were fine 5 years ago, we saw it and it's like, oh, we're looking at the sidewalk. We should have actually put in more outlets or more spaces for outside dining because of what happened during the pandemic. And right now, that's already what we're doing and what we're implementing in our new buildings.
And I think it's good that, as you're doing it and people visit, local government leaders from whether it's Parañaque or Metro Manila or even outside, when they visit, they're like, oh, this can be done because I see people walking in Aseana. So I can also do this in public places in my locality.
Try to be involved with our other real estate organizations like Urban Land Use, so not only so that we can show them what we're doing, but so we can also see the best practices that are being done in the Philippines and around the region.